Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the results of my road to nationals, kind of give my thoughts on my play and just kind of, give you a little recap. And then obviously my thoughts moving later on into this future meta we're about to be in, since Oldheim, as of today, living legend. Everybody pop a glass of champagne, be happy. The wicked freaking burly man of the East is gone. No hate on anyone who plays Oldheim, but I'm super glad that hero is out of the game officially. The play experience just wasn't good, but that's near here nor there. Regardless, we're going to talk about the RTN. So this Road Nationals, I didn't test or prepare or play or do any of that. I played obviously casual Talishar games and then an armory or two, but I wasn't testing. I wasn't messing with the deck. I really kind of made calls last second. And honestly, yesterday I was hanging out with friends and I just randomly called Nerdholic Games and was like, hey, do y'all have any open spots? I'm local to the area, but I actually haven't. I wasn't originally going to do RTN season. And they said, yeah, we had you can be a second alternate if someone drops, and you'll be the last spot in. 2 people dropped, unfortunately couldn't make it, so I got one of their spots. So it's super last second, quite literally 12 hours before you're supposed to be there. I decided to do an RTN. So last second, I'm obviously decently comfortable with Azalea, but wasn't comfortable in every single matchup right now. I've only played the Lexi matchup basically on Talishar, which is a lot different. For anyone who doesn't know, Dallas Flesh and Blood is, in my opinion, the most competitive area in Flesh and Blood without knowing every single one. We have huge talent here. Brody Spurlock, a bunch of our people live here, and it's literally over a third of the field already has a Nats invite going into this RTN. So 22-player RTN, played Azalea. I'll go over my matchups and then kind of give you a couple kind of key cards I think that are really good in the matchup. So the first one was in Lexi. Ended up playing this. I won 1 life to 0. Super close game. Really, we both were hitting each other really well. No one really did anything wrong per se. It's just I drew enough cards at the end to eke it out off of Rain Razors, which was really nice. So won that one, which was really good. Second matchup was a Briar. That was just us smacking each other. I had a bunch of dominated arrows. They had a really good Channel Mount Heroic turn that put me down. But really just kind of Briar's is probably one of my better matchups for the meta right now, because as long as you don't trip up, you pretty much are favored in a Briar. You can really stunt what they're trying to do. So it's 2-0 in a 5-round RTN, feeling really good. All I had to do is pretty much win 1 more, and I was near guaranteed to be in top 8. If I won 2 more, I definitely was guaranteed. And then things went downhill. So I played an Oldheim individual named Joel, really good Oldheim player. Has been on Oldheim since last PQ season or longer. And his Oldheim is mega tank Oldheim. He has sides. I don't know how many staunches he runs in the main board, but when he plays me, he has 9 staunch responses, 3 Fate for Scenes, 3 Sync Belows, Heart of Fiendal, just super tank Oldheim. So I ended up playing him. I actually didn't play it bad. I lost 4 life to 0 before decking out, and honestly, other maybe than a few pitch stack things, I don't know what I could have done better in that matchup. I truly don't. I tried to pitch stack as best as I could. I tried not to use Knock the Death Whistle unless I absolutely had to, or even at all, and try to keep my pitch. I don't think I used a Knock that turn or that game, but just couldn't quite get there. Still learning that matchup. But his Oldheim, honestly, is the toughest Oldheim to play, because it's so hard to hit him. I even put his Rampart down with a drill shot, turn 4. I got his Rampart out of play, which really kind of stirred up the matchup a little bit, but just couldn't quite get there. So it was 2-1. Then we played another Lexi, lost 3 life to 0. Again, super close game. They got a Codex turnout late game, which gave them a 4-arrow attack, which put me basically I think I was winning 15-6. It was 15-16, and then it was 9-6, and then that's when they got the triple arrow turnout, and I had to go to 8 and then 1. So at that point, it was just really hard to keep tempo, and they won off of that. So it was 2-2, and I was in my winning end. I could still possibly make top 8 with breakers, and played another Lexi. And this Lexi matchup was super different. Individual named Carson, really good player. Carson already has his invite. And neither one of us ended up making top 8, spoiler alert, because of the breakers. But what happened was, we both were playing, and super good guy. He basically had a a card down Arsenal on his turn with Lexi. He flipped for Lexi, and the second he flipped, literally the second, he was like, "Oh, I forgot to do Tunic." Like his hand was still on the count on the card. He's like, "Do you mind if I do Tunic?" And normally, if someone like does an action, sits there for a minute, messes with their cards, and then all of a sudden says, "Oh, I forgot Tunic. Do you mind if I do it?" I most times say no, just because like that's too long. But literally, the start of his turn, he went, "Oh, Tunic. Do you mind if I do Tunic really fast?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." But that bit me in the butt because that turn he had a Syrian shot, Bolton shot in hand with a Codex he flipped from Arsenal, and he ended up +1 the Bolton shot for 5. I believe, or something he did, where he basically was, I forgot his exact hand, but he basically was played 3 arrows instead of 2 because of that Tunic trigger. That's what he did. So he played Bolton shot down Arsenal, played it for 5 go again, 5 go again, red Bolton shot, used a Tunic trigger to Voltaire at loading a Syrian shot, and then fire the Syrian shot with 4 go again, and then Codex of Frailty. If I wouldn't have given him the Tunic counter, he basically would have played 5 go again, and his bullseye bracers were already cracked. He would have had to pitch to Voltaire, play Codex, and then he would have played a 4 power arrow. So essentially, instead of a 13 damage turn, he would have had a 9 damage turn, and that might have swung the game. It did swing the game. Like, I lost 2 life to nothing. If I wouldn't have given that Tunic counter, I would have won. But that's not me making an excuse. That's just me saying, like, if I had to do it over, I still would have given the Tunic counter. Like, I don't know. To me, his hand literally was pretty much not even off of the card yet, and I would want someone to help me out there. But I know at the end of the day, people have their opinions on it. But overall, like, as you can see, 2 life to nothing, 3 life to nothing, 4 life to nothing, 4 life to nothing, and 1 life to nothing. So all of my games combined were by 1, 5, 9, 12, 13, 14 combined life in 5 games. So averaging less than 3 life difference per game. So it ended up going 2 and 3. Could have easily went 3 and 2 or even 4 and 1 if a couple more things would have went my way. But I'm really, honestly, like, that's the best I've played. And I've made top 8 from ProQuest before and like top 4. That's the best I've ever played from a competitive standpoint. I didn't think I had a game where like I truly messed up really bad. Obviously, if you could go back and watch your games, there's probably like a play line I could have done differently, especially in the Oldham matchup. I'd love to see that. But overall, like, I wasn't upset with how I played. Wasn't disappointed like a line that I did or made a dumb mistake or missed a Tunic counter or anything like that. I truly played clean. And so, it is what it is. We had fun. I ended up getting this Uprising playmat with the random playmat draw, so that was cool. And then also ended up getting like the blue spinning wheel kick. So, we had fun with it. Kind of going into the cards a little bit. I'm not going to go through the whole deck because you can see in my last video. But I'm going to talk about a couple of cards that are super good. And now with Oldham being out of the meta, I think the cards are going to be like almost a staple. The first one that honestly is just needed in your deck if you're running Azalea, in my opinion, is Frailty Trap. You run this card. Run this card. It's so good into everyone except for pretty much Oldham. It hurts Lexi. Like, I had so many turns where Lexi would fire with a 4-powered arrow, and I'd Frailty Trap with Go Again on their first arrow, and I would Frailty Trap, basically blocking it for 3. It would go down 1 because of the Frailty trigger. And because now that 4-power arrow that came from Arsenal is now for 3. So I'd fully block it out with 1 card, and then their next card, even if they +1'd it, only came in for 4. So, like, it's just so much value. You essentially are like, yeah, you're just doing so well with it. This card's a must-have in this meta, especially now. You're going to see a lot of Lexi running around even more with Oldham gone. Katsu, it's super, like I talked about in my last video. If you play this on Kadachi 1, you react to Frailty Trap. They basically just pitch to blue for no reason because their second Kadachi's going to come in for 0. It's good against Phi. It's decent against Briar with her like lightning surges and stuff. From Arsenal or the Rosetta Thorn. Just run this card. It should be a 3-of in your sideboard, in my opinion, like no doubt about it. The next one is more of a meta call. It's the combination of Lace of Frailty and Withering Shot. So like I said in my last video, you never want to like stack triggers like Lace with Inertia and Seek and Destroy. It kind of feels bad, especially if Ponder tokens running around too. But Lace of Frailty is so good when it's combined with a Withering Shot. I had this happen twice today against Lexi's, where I played a Withering Shot into a Lace of Frailty and basically telling them if they don't block this, their arrows come in for -2 for the entire turn next turn, which is really powerful against them. So I really enjoyed that combination. And then my last card, obviously Codex of Frailty, but that's kind of like, enough said about that one. But overall, 2-3, not a great record, but not unhappy with how I did. I thought I played pretty well. There's definitely things you can always get better at, things you can always do differently, but had a ton of fun. The Dallas region is insanely competitive. Good luck to everyone out there. I'd left after top 8s. I don't know who ended up winning it. I know we had an Azalea in top 8. There was a Levia in top 8, which was crazy. I think a Briar, maybe 2 or 3 Lexis at Oldheim. So there was definitely an Oldheim. There was definitely a Levia. There was definitely an Azalea. There was definitely at least 2 Lexis. And then someone more. So pretty good spread matchup. I don't think any Dromides made top 8. There were a couple there. I think in this 22-person pool, we had 6 Lexis, 2 Azaleas, 2 or 3 Briars, 2 Dromides, 2 or 3 Oldheims. So pretty diverse. 1 Levia, 1 Katsu, no Phis, no Snowballs with no Phis, no Bravos, and only like 2 Dromides. But yeah, let me know what you think. Just kind of giving you all a recap. Told you all I'd do it no matter how good or bad I did. I'd say for a snap decision of doing RTN on a 12-hour notice when I wasn't even anticipating and I didn't really, test. I'm pretty happy with how it went. But hopefully y'all's RTNs went well. I know a couple people on the Discord, definitely joined the Discord down below, did really well. A couple people won their RTNs, got top 4, got their invites. So congrats to y'all. That's awesome. Definitely let me know how y'all's events went, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.